Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Crushing the EPPP. I'm your EPPP coach, Dr. Erica Liggins, and I have the amazing Dr. Taylor here today to share their story of how they recently passed the EPPP. Congratulations!
Yay!
So exciting! Oh, so great to be here with you. And I'm excited to sit with you and learn a little bit more about your experience so that you can share this with others and hopefully motivate and inspire them to stick with this process to see it through to the other side.
Yes.
Yes.
Excited to be here.
Good, good, good. So before we start, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So, like Dr. Erica said, my name is Taylor. I am a clinical psychology PsyD background. So, I graduated from Wheaton College in 2021, spring of 2021. I would say my specialization coming into the field was really focused on increasing access to mental health care for Black kids and families in urban settings. That looked different every year of my training, but now I'm actually teaching, doing a little bit of teaching, a little bit of clinical training, a little bit of research, all with kind of the focus on, again, increasing access to mental health care in actually urban and rural settings right now. So, yeah.
Gotcha. So you're a little bit of everything you're
Yeah.
doing,
Yeah.
but with a very clear goal and passion in mind, which is really
Exactly.
support underserved communities.
Mm-hmm.
So we know that obviously to further your work, you had to pass this test. So
Yeah.
can you tell us a little bit about what your EPPP process was like prior to starting coaching with me?
Sure, sure. Yeah. I mean, I think my first response is it was just another hoop, right? At this point, you get so used to you get into grad school, that's one big hoop. You then have to pass like your PQEs and all these other kind of smaller hoops. You have to defend your dissertation, and every hoop, at least for me, it was like, am I going to make it? Am I going to make it? And then you do, right? And I think initially the EPPP process was like, oh, I just have to study. I've been studying all my life. So just do the same exact thing that you've been doing all of your life and you'll be fine. That was not the case. I think I initially basically used my study materials that I got through a study program and thought like if I read this, memorize it the way that I have all of my other, experiences when it came to preparing for an exam, I'll be fine. And even when I didn't fully understand something, I would think like when it comes to the exam, I'll be able to recognize it. Um, I tried my best to keep things like organized and like each week went over a different domain. But after 12 weeks, the first week, whatever I studied the first week, by the 12th week was completely gone.
Ooh.
And I didn't realize that being a part of my problem until having not passed the exam, having met with Coach Erica, thinking through how do you study for success for a very specific kind of exam that is nothing like anything you've taken before, and learning how to manage that differently. But I think overall, my mindset was just study the same way you have always been and you're going to be fine. And I was not. And that, of course, was very discouraging. I think, again, for me, it was isolating in the sense of just, your family and friends are like, so you've graduated, like you're done with school. Why are you studying for this? I thought it was over. And you almost feel bad, like bringing up like, yeah, I know, but I have to also do this. And family members are like, okay.
Right.
So
And they think
yeah.
it's just another test. And
Yeah.
when it doesn't work out or it's harder or longer than anything else they've ever seen, they're
Mhm.
looking at you like, well, what's going on? And you're like, I'm doing my best. It's hard.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so what made you say, I need help? I need
Yeah.
someone to help guide me through this.
Yeah. I remember it like it was yesterday. I had taken that exam, the EPPP, that morning, And immediately after taking it, I ended up texting a few of my close friends. Some of them were further in the field, some of them were maybe a year ahead of me. And three of them reached out to me saying, you're going to take it again. And when you take it again, you will eventually pass. You
Mm.
should reach out to Coach Erica Liggins and she'll be able to help you. And that's really what was that. I was desperate. Honestly, I was like, okay, I need help. I need someone who's going to be able to help me not only pass this exam, but I also felt like I don't know if I have it in me to keep going. Like, because I felt so defeated,
Mm-hmm.
I knew that if I didn't have accountability, I might not face it again.
Yes,
And so
it's
I was
really
like,
daunting.
yeah, yeah. I was immediately like, I just need someone external outside of my family, outside of my friends to like help me pick myself back up and to find a way to move forward.
Absolutely. And how you felt coming into coaching is how a lot of people feel stuck, overwhelmed, defeated. It's a
Yeah.
really difficult place to be in. So tell me, looking back now that you're on the other side of it and you've been through my coaching system, what would you say in general between, just us meeting together as well as some of the other pieces of the coaching program? What were like the top three things that you got from it that you felt helped you to get over the hump and pass this thing?
I think number one is probably the sense of validation that I felt that Dr. Erica had gone through this herself. She knew what it was like to be in my shoes.
Yes.
And if I like wanted to cry in the middle of a coaching session, her being like, yeah, this is worth like it's a lot. It's okay to want to cry about it.
Yep.
I think that was the number one, like most helpful thing. Right next to it was the weekly meetings. So I think that kept me so much more accountable
Mhm.
than me trying to figure out how to do this on my own. Like, I think there would have easily been 2 weeks where I just wouldn't have studied, or 2 weeks where I studied maybe 5 hours or maybe, however many hours, but not to the point where I was preparing for the exam.
Mhm.
And when it gets down to like the last few weeks, that really does matter. How much you study during the week, how like on top of things you are. So I would say, yeah, the validation and then the accountability that came from the weekly meetings. And then like the organization of like, okay, how do I even tackle this thing? Like, what do I do first? What do I do next? What do I not do?
Yes.
Um, so like the practicality of the coaching experience was also really helpful. And it felt like every week when we checked in, it wasn't just like, okay, what have you been studying, but also how are you feeling?
Mhm.
So kind of assessing your ability to regulate and how you're regulating during your study period can really reflect how you're going to be able to regulate yourself during the exam. And
Absolutely.
so I would have moments where I would come into session and be struggling.
Mhm.
And Eric would be like, okay, like let's think of like what are some things you can do to regulate because we know you're gonna feel that times 10 when you get to the exam.
Yep.
So
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. And, that's one of the things that I absolutely love about this is when you're going through it, it feels so awful. And then, but then the joy and the relief when you're on the other side now looking back. And so, my next question for you is for someone who's coming into coaching, who's considering getting some help, and they're probably feeling defeated, maybe even a little hopeless like, is anything going to help me? Especially for people like you who got close to passing on their own but weren't able to get over the hump. What would you say to someone who's considering it?
oh, I would say you are worth it. Like you have put so much time and effort into doing what you want to do, you don't let this exam get in the way of that. Yeah, I think that's like, it truly did break me down to where I was like, I don't know, like maybe I need to do something else, or maybe I need to take more time off. I just was thinking in my head of all of these, like, maybe it's just not for me. Um, and that can be really defeating. But I think kind of going back to knowing like you are worth all of the work that you're putting into this. Your work is all of the like, it's worth it to be able to do what you want to do.
Mhm.
Um, and that it will happen, right? That's the thing that I kept telling myself, is that I will pass. I didn't know if it was going to be the next time or the next time after that, but I just kept telling myself, like, every time I study, I am one step closer to passing. Even if I miss a bunch of questions on my practice exam, that's still one step closer because I now know the answer to that question.
Yes, it's all about how you frame it, right?
Mm, yeah.
Yeah. So last but not least, now that you are free from the EPPP, what is I know, it's like, ooh, what is something that you are looking forward to in your life now that you have this behind you? It can be big things, little
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. I mean, I think little things is like reading, like things that I enjoy. Like I grew up really enjoying like fiction, but of course, grad school kind of like wears reading out of you. And
Mm.
then studying also, it's like I don't want to look at another page of words when you're studying, but I think I'm getting back into like, wow, I can imagine like fun things again.
Yes.
Um, so that's like a little thing. I think a big thing is being able to prioritize me and my life and my family, right? Like full disclosure, don't have any kids, but I want to. Like I want to have kids, and my husband does. And so in my head, I was like, I just want to get through this because I know people that have taken this with a family, and it's even more challenging. So I knew in my head I wanted to try my best to get through this so that I could then prioritize so many of my other dreams that I have for my life. So this has freed up a lot of time and energy to invest in my relationships, and in me and like what I want next in my life.
Absolutely. And I'm so excited for you to go and do all of that. For those who are watching this, Taylor and I actually knew each other some years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I knew Taylor when they just entered the field and were learning how to do therapy. And so
Yeah.
5 years later, to be here with you at this step, supporting you with this final step of launching your career, it has been my absolute honor to be with you in this journey. And I'm just so excited for you. And I know you're going to do amazing things. You knocked our socks off years ago, myself and other training team members, when we first met you, and just your natural abilities. And so now you've got the credentials to boot, and you're going to do
Yes.
amazing things. So congratulations again to you, and much
Thank
success.
you. Thank you. Thank you. I would say if you are thinking about working with Dr. Erica, if you're questioning it, just do it. And at least just one meeting, right? I think after having one meeting, you'll be like, okay, yep, that this is worth it. Like this is going to help me um, meet my goal. So yeah. Thank you again for all of your support throughout this time, unwavering support. I felt like you were like the steady rock in the midst of me being like, I don't know. And you were like, nope, we're going to keep going. I know, which is why we're going to keep going. So, yeah, thank
You're
you.
so welcome. Yeah, take care and good luck to you and everything that you do.
Thank you.